Hello, everybody. Welcome to, um, I think, maybe my final Facebook Live on specifically preparing for a STEM career. I want to get right into it because I have a lot to say. So today we're talking about how to financially prepare for a successful STEM career. So if you remember, I told you my story in the past of my path. And just to recap my path, I'm talking about 4 years of undergraduate. That's a bachelor's degree in some kind of STEM field. Then I took 2 years for a master's degree, and then 4 years for my PhD. So I always tell people, welcome to the best 10 years of your life. You are spending 10 years approximately in training. Even if you don't do a PhD, you do 4 years of undergrad and you do another 4 years of medical school. You're going to go to graduate school for 4 or 5 years. So 8 to 10 years of your life post high school will be dedicated to training in STEM. And you need to be able to financially prepare for that. You need to be able to financially prepare for that. And you have to also know how to be financially stable. It's not enough to be smart. If you can't handle your money, you'll go broke smart. So today I'm going to talk about making sure that you understand the role of wealth, finances in preparation for, excuse me, colleges. If you have any questions, just inbox me, okay? Either put it on there, you could just put the questions on, right underneath, or if that's not getting through, also inbox me so I see it. All right, so, excuse me. What is the cost of an undergraduate education, especially that in STEM? I'm going to talk about college. My first thing is that you have to understand that it costs money. I'm only going to go based on my experience in Florida. I teach in the college system in Florida, and look, excuse me, look at the pricing of college. Seminole State is where I go to, where I teach, and it costs, well, this was about 2 years ago, maybe $4,000 a year, $3,000 at the time, a year, not a semester, a year. So $4,000 to $5,000 a year to go to a state institution. I have other state colleges, public colleges up there, UF, FSU, UCF, and even that, $17,000 a year. I put that up there to compare it to private institutions, which cost between $34,000 and $54,000 a year. Some institutions, $70,000, $80,000 a year. My point is this. Consider finances. I have a PhD. I teach at Seminole State. I'm an awesome professor, and I teach my students. If you go to many of these institutions, they get taught by TAs. State colleges are good, especially in your beginning years. And so if you're not going away to school, I'm a proponent of Adventist education. I went to Oakwood University. I believe in that. But if you're not going to Oakwood, you need to stay home. That's my point. Stay home. Get bright future scholarships where you're paying nothing for school. Go to school for free. If you don't have another reason to go, like I believe in going to historically black colleges, universities, they're really great. I went to a Seventh-day Adventist historically black college. I believe that you can go away, but just don't go away. And if you go away, make sure you can afford it, especially when you're basically getting similar types of education at home. And if you look at $4,000 versus $17,000, you know the difference, right? The difference is all the amenities at these institutions. But to be honest with STEM, just get the grade, do well in school. All these big colleges are putting all these swimming pools, and it's like technology. It's like, the new Apple or the new Samsung or whatever technology you believe in. Most people don't even use the type of technology that they offer. So you're paying $1,000 just to say you have an Apple or a Samsung. But truly, do you use all those things? And so I am a proponent of going to school for school and not putting yourself into grave amounts of debt just to live on campus while you're in Florida or California or wherever you live. Okay, so college costs. College costs. So make sure you make proper decisions with that. Okay, so we move on to graduate school. And the thing I want to talk about with graduate school is Residency Matters. You need to become a resident of the institution that you go, the state where the institution you go. Look, it costs $8,000 to go to one school, but if you were a non-resident, $16,000. It's double just because you won't declare residency in the state where you are going to school. So please, if you decide to go to school out of state, become a resident of that state. Don't be hooked on, I'm a New Yorker forever and I'm never leaving New York. That's nonsense. Save yourself some money. Residency Matters. Look at the costs of these institutions. This is engineering institutions, public health, medical institutions. They're running from $25,000 to $30,000, sometimes $40,000, sometimes $50,000 per year. So if I just told you it took me 6 years to go to Einstein. Imagine if I paid $25,000 a year, right? I would be $150,000 in debt. It costs money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to major in STEM. You have to get your finances right. You can't go based on your mind like, I'm smart and I'll just make the money afterwards. No, don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Consider how much money that you're making. It costs a lot of money to become a STEM major. It costs a lot of money. All right, so is it worth it? Is it worth all that money? I'm paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. I didn't pay any money. I told you that in the past that I went to graduate school for free. After I finished Oakwood College, I promised myself I would never go into debt again. So I made sure I didn't pay that money. You have to know how much money it's going to cost you. But is it worth it? The key thing is it worth it? Absolutely. STEM is not outsourceable. They are calling people from all over the world to work in this country because they don't have enough Americans that are qualified to work in STEM fields. STEM, when you have a college degree, you at the worst of times don't have unemployment. So look at 2009. That's the peak of the epic crash that was almost equivalent to the Great Depression. All right, there was a huge uptick in unemployment, and you know who had the most problems? People with less than a high school diploma. 16% of them did not have jobs. Then 10%, that's even higher, who had some college or a high school diploma. 8% some college. You see, if you're watching during the worst of times, the people who won't have jobs are the people who don't have a college degree. So does college degree matter? Absolutely. And I bet you STEM fields, I would say it's lower than 4%. 4% is what people with college degrees, they were unemployed. Only 4% of people with college degrees were unemployed during the height of the Great Recession. So college is very important. When you look at STEM graduates, they're making look at the engineering. I have this graph up here. Just as soon as they get out of school, almost $60,000. $60,000 starting engineering. Computer sciences too. Chemistry is not right behind. The biological sciences, man, we suffer. I don't know what. Maybe we're not having enough self-esteem. I don't know. But STEM fields, starting off the bat, make good money after just a bachelor's degree, not even necessarily a graduate. So absolutely a college education, STEM degree is worth the money invested. You just have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. You have to prepare your children. Do not pay for by the way, don't pay for your children to go to school. Sorry. I'll get to that a little later. But yeah, I want you to have an open mind though. STEM is not just being an engineer or being a scientist or mathematician. STEM fields can lead you anywhere. All right. People want to be nurses. That's a high, a lot of people who take STEM classes like biology and chemistry and stuff they become nurses and doctors. But look how much a nurse makes. $60,000 average. This is 14, I believe. Physician, even $200,000. Look who makes the most money. CEOs of those hospitals. And they could have majored in biology and then did a master's in business. And they were finished in 3 years versus 10 years of school. And they're making half a million dollars a year. Okay, so open your mind. If it's all about money for you, just be honest. I want to be a nurse because I want to make money. Then you may not want to just do nursing. You could do something else. Use the nursing as a background, but be a director. If that's your skill, if that's your talent. So I'm just saying, open your mind. There's more to STEM. I have students that struggle through STEM. And when I say they struggle, I mean they get B's and C's. That's struggling. B's and C's. It's terrible. That's the case. And so you're like, a C student can be a CEO of a hospital. A C student in biology, a hard biology course, it's not really that bad. And so you can't force yourself into medical school. If you can't get in med school, you can't get into nursing school because you got a B in anatomy or a C. What are you going to take the class over and over? I mean, open your mind. Try health administration, try business, try finance. It may work for you. I believe one of the former CEOs of Florida Hospital had a degree in physics. All right, so next thing is, okay, how do I pay for it? I believe it's worth it. And I know there's tons of opportunities in STEMs to be financially stable. How do I afford this? Should I get a loan? Should I get a scholarship? I want you to see how much money I want you to see how much money that we are taking out in debt. Look, $35,000 the average student takes out per year. Bachelor's degree. That's $70,000 after 2 years. That's $140,000 after 4 years. They're coming out with a mortgage, right? This country is billions of dollars in debt, right? $70 billion in debt per graduating class. Per class, we are trillions in debt off of student loans. I have a problem with student loans. Now, I took out student loans because I got scholarships. My parents made a little bit too much money for me to get Pell Grants, so I had to get the rest in loans. I wanted to go to Oakwood College, so therefore I had to find a way to make the money. My parents did not give me a lot of money to go to school. They gave me what they could. They sent care packages when they could. My dad paid child support, right? So that might have helped. But the rest of it was me. It was on me. Parents, do not co-sign your children's student loans. I repeat, parents, do not, can you see me? Am I looking directly in the camera? Do not co-sign your kids' student loans. Loans are not, you can't file for bankruptcy. They will come for your estate. They will come for your Social Security. And that boy didn't even finish. That girl, don't want to be sexist, that girl didn't even finish. Okay? Do not co-sign. Do not take out parent loans. Let your kids fund their own education, because you have to fund your retirement. You can't do both. So if you can't afford it, stay in state. Get the scholarships in state. I'm sorry, I'm giving you reality checks today. Or make sure your kids know that you're not funding their college education. So if they want to go to all these institutions out of state, then they're going to have to finance it themselves. And you're not co-signing, so they're going to have to get scholarships. Scholarships are all over. They just have to work for it. I'm not a proponent of finding scholarships for people. You have to work hard in finding scholarships for yourself. Seek after scholarships, right? Contrary to popular belief, scholarships are not for poor people, for minorities. Majority of people who get scholarships are white, middle-class people, right? They get scholarships because they write the essay. So number one with scholarships, you have to take the time to write the essay. I'm a part of 2 scholarship organizations at my school. I run one of them, and it's a headache trying to get students just to apply. We're giving money away. We're giving more money to some people because they applied, and we have to get rid of that money. I've seen it. So when somebody when I could have given away 2 $500 scholarships, I gave one $1,000 scholarship. I'm not saying I did that, but I mean, I'm giving you an example of what I do or can do, right? So, write the essay. Take an hour to write the essay. You just made $500 an hour. You're talking about, oh, I want a job that pays $25 an hour. I'm giving you opportunities to make $500 an hour, and you won't do it. Write the essay, you guys. It's so important. It's so important. All right. So, I told you to go to public school. I believe in public school as well, especially if you can't afford it. Our public institutions are great. Don't let anybody lie to you and tell you they're not sufficient. But the problem is, a lot of people who go to public schools waste time. They go to public schools for 6 years. I've seen people getting an associate's. They stay at a 2-year college for 4, 5, 6 years to get an associate's. See, that's the problem. You don't have a plan. You have to have a plan to go to school. You have to know what you're going to major in, what classes you need to take, when you need to take them, the prerequisites for those classes, when those prerequisites are offered. Because if you don't have a plan on how to take these classes, you will be in school forever. And you would have paid, yes, $5,000, but times 6. You would have paid $30,000. When you look at this over here, how time to degree affects, right? A public college, yes, it costs, when I went to Oakwood, it cost me $10,000 to $12,000 a year. I end up over 4 years, probably paying between $40,000 and $50,000, right? Between $40,000 and $50,000. That's a lot of money. Between my loans, my scholarships, I got scholarships, and then my parents helped me out a little bit. It cost me $50,000 to go to school for a year. Well, if you pay $10,000 now, right? $10,000 is equivalent to $30,000 now. It could cost about $30,000 a year. My God, right? Right? So $30,000 a year times 4 is Jesus. $120,000 a year. My God. Okay. That's a lot of money. And if you spend $10,000 a year and you take 12 years to go to public school, then you also pay $120,000 a year, right? Or even let's say you spent 6 years instead and you just came out with an associate's though. You spent $60,000 for associates when an Oakwoodite who has a little bit more at private institutions, they're really good at they really get students out much faster than public institutions. They're more nurturing to students, I believe, and they get out. Most of the times people get out from private schools within 4 to 5 years. So look at that chart. $77,000 a year over 4 years for a private school, but then somebody over there took 5-6 years, and then they lost income because they weren't working. At least the person after 4 years starts working in the workforce with the private institution, they make money. So you can lose money going to public schools if you do not have a plan. If you do not have a plan. All right, have a plan. That's my point. Have a plan. All right. When you go to public schools, it's good, but you got to finish. College, period. You got to finish college. Don't be in college for years. Finish. Because when you come out, you have to make money. You have to make money. And so I have some investment strategies. I think some STEM people, they just focus heavily on school and they have no idea about finances. They have no idea. They're in debt. They hate their job because they're making money, but they can't have fun with the money that they make because they had no plan. They had no plan. So here's a short plan that I have for you. I believe in paying yourself second, right? Give to charity first. I give a faithful tithe and offering to my church, and then I pay myself afterwards, right? So pay myself second. I don't believe in a pay yourself first belief. No. Pay a charitable organization first, then give the rest to yourself, right? How do you pay yourself? You budget. I believe in budgeting. I don't usually plug people, but mint.com is an awesome program that really helps you budget. So if you need ideas on computer programs to really keep your finances in order, I suggest Mint. It showed me where I was and showed me where I could be. And if you budget, you'll be out of financial issues right away. Get rid of all the debt, especially the ones that can't be written off in taxes. So your credit card debt, why invest? If you owe $2,000 on a credit card and they're charging you 30% interest, why are you putting an investment in for 5 to 10% interest? Get out of that credit card first before you invest a dime. Get out of car loan debt, credit card debt, any kind of debt that cannot be written off in taxes. And after that, get rid of your student loan debt right away. And after that, get rid of your mortgage. I believe in being debt free. Be a slave to no one. And if you have that mindset, you pay yourself first by getting out of debt. You pay yourself first by having a budget. And then you pay yourself first by putting money in an investment account. Retirement accounts like Roth IRAs, you could put up to $5,500 to $6,000 a year. That's about $500 a month you need to put away in an investment account right away. And just a regular low cost index fund until you get about $10,000, and then you can start working with the stock market. But just a low cost index fund, you just chuck that $500 a month in and learn the stock market process till you get to about 10 grand, and then you can start dilly-dallying. This is my opinion. This is not truth. But I hope I helped you today. I hope I really helped you understand the role of finances and being prepared for a STEM career. It costs money. Let me see if I said everything. It costs a lot of money. You have to have a plan on how you're going to pay for it. You have to have a financial mindset afterwards. Seek wisdom. It's not enough to have knowledge. Seek wisdom.